Welcome to Guys We Fucked. Guys We Fucked.
Guys We Fucked. I'm Christina.
I'm Corinne.
We're
sorry about last night. The anti-slut shaming podcast. I never stop.
Yo, fuckers. Welcome to another episode of Guys We Fucked.
It's the anti-slut shaming podcast. I'm Corinne.
I'm Christina.
Wow, you really
Cracking myself up.
went hardcore with that.
Just another day.
That was a lot.
I wasn't letting out anything. I'm actually in such a fun, happy mood.
Yeah.
I had my period for like fucking 10 days.
What?
Why?
I'm not sure.
God. I don't know. It was very weird.
Was it?
And it was in the middle of my birth control pack.
Like a heavy flow?
No, very light. It was the most annoying. I had to put something in.
Gotta cork it up.
Cork that pussy up.
Right.
Right? Isn't that what the rappers sing about? I don't know.
I don't know if they're talking about menstrual cycles.
Nah, probably
I think
not.
they're talking about dick and vaginas for sexual pleasure.
Probably.
But, you know.
Man, I shouldn't own a gun. Yeah, I was moody and now I'm just holly go lightly. You know?
That's good.
And I made up a set. Steven and I went to see Star Trek. Very good movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I made up the sex move called the Live Long and Prosper,
Mm-hmm.
where you just suck a guy's dick and then you just, afterwards, you just put up the fingers and you say, live long and prosper.
Okay. All right.
I think I am so funny.
Did you do that without telling him that you were going to do that?
I told him. I blew it. I blew the surprise.
You blew some stuff.
Yeah. Well, he blew and then I blew it.
Yeah.
But first. But yeah, Star Trek is, it creates lives, that movie. It gets me so horny because Chris Pine is fine.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I would put it in my behind.
That's things I would never say. Like,
Chris Pine?
no, Star Wars, Star Trek, not any of the star things.
It was
not
so
interested.
good.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah. How are you sure? You fucking moved.
Mm-hmm. I moved.
Are you hornier now that you're in a nice apartment?
No, I
don't know why that would
my obsessive compulsive disorder is like out of control.
Oh, how so?
Because I've never lived in a nice apartment before, or an apartment that was like mine that I felt like the need to take care of. I usually just live in shitholes where I'm like, oh, there's mouse poop on the floor. You can put your shoes wherever you want.
Oh, a mouse made a bed there? Nah, it's okay. Just scoot it over.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was me. The whole past like week was me just literally sweeping mouse poop with my hand.
Ooh.
I took all
no
my
broom, huh?
When I took, well, because I broomed it, but then like some of it didn't get in the broom and you got to do the rest with your hand.
Man,
what are you going to do?
Us New Yorkers, we're tough.
I'm not going to leave mouse poop there.
Yeah. That wouldn't, I would totally do that. It wouldn't faze me.
Yeah. Well, I was just like it was like in the beginning, it bothered me in the beginning of the mouse infestation. But at a certain point, I was just used to living with it. Now I was like, oh, hi, Charlie. What's up?
Stephanie, Lisa, nice to see you.
How you doing? Everyone's here. Great.
We're all here. We're all family.
Oh, who did we lose? Oh, forgot that glue trap was there. Sorry, Bernard.
That's okay, because Stephanie had 27 kids the other day, so it makes up for it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. Yeah. So now I just have obsessive compulsive disorder out the wazoo.
That's okay.
I'm like, don't touch that. I'm gonna be like one of those crazy Italian women who has just like plastic over all her furniture.
It's like my dad. Well, he doesn't have it over the furniture, but you know, like when something comes with a plastic over, you're supposed to peel the plastic off before you use it. Not my dad. No.
Leave it on. Yeah.
Leave it on forever until you throw it out. You never enjoy the crystal clear screen that you should have been entitled to.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's fucking annoying.
Yeah, it's a lot. So it's just, me telling people to look at things, not touch them. Everyone's like, are you having a housewarming? I'm like, absolutely
no,
not.
I don't want you monsters in my home.
Yeah, maybe 5 people will be allowed in this apartment.
Yeah.
That's max.
Did you have sex in it yet?
No, actually, I didn't. Mm-mm.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you did you have a good holiday weekend?
Well, I was away.
I
was away for most of the weekend, so that's why.
Where'd you go?
I went to my friend Erica's parents' beach house.
Ooh.
In Point Pleasant, New Jersey.
Oh.
Was in a club called Osprey or whatever. It's some Jersey Shore club. And of course, I'm like hammered out of my mind. And then people come up to me like, are you Corinne Fisher? I am. Yes, I am. They're like, I can't believe you're here. I'm like, I'm from Jersey. What are you talking about?
What are you guys talking about? I'm here all the time. Fuck you guys.
What are you talking about? I'm from New Jersey.
Yeah, you texted me that as I was laying in bed after making s'mores around a campfire.
Oh, wow.
Man, nature.
Yeah.
Give me some.
Yeah. I was just walking around a lot playing arcade games, eating candy apples.
Sounds great.
Just,
I ate too many brownies and now I haven't pooped for a long time. So
regular brownies? Or
not pop brownies.
Okay.
Like actual, like Betty Crocker.
Ooh.
Oh, so good.
Brownies are delicious.
If they weren't so goddamn delicious, maybe I wouldn't have eaten them all.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just went balls to the wall. Just eating pizza, just octopus chopped up.
Wow. You fucks with octopus?
Yeah, I was with Italian family, and I'm Italian. So.
Oh, yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah, we just eat octopus. It's very tasty.
I'm sure a lot of people eat it. I just can't get past the fact that it's an octopus.
Right.
Well, I don't know why. Why does that mean I don't eat? It grosses me out for no reason. I hate the walls I put up around myself surrounding food.
Right. Well,
I can't eat lamb because I think a lamb chop.
Yeah, I don't eat lamb either.
Because I think of a cute little lamb that I want to be my best friend, and then that lamb gets slaughtered and put on my plate. Horrible.
But then we're totally fine with eating birds. Though.
I know.
It's shitty.
Chicken? Fuck chickens.
Fish,
I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, fish don't care.
I don't know. I feel like
they like it.
Yeah, they love fish like getting murdered. What are you talking about?
They love being gutted alive. What are you talking about?
They're fine with it.
Speaking of music, all the music that you guys hear on Guys We Fucked is created by people who listen to the podcast, and we are hashtag blessed to have a very talented group of listeners. If you have a band and your band's good, or your friend has a band and they're good, email Steven, my boyfriend. He picks all the music. The email address is gwfpodcastmusic@gmail.com. Send us some streaming links to your stuff. And that's all the music featured on the podcast are fucker made. So, and then if you're ever curious about the song that you hear, scroll down to the description of that week's podcast, and the artist and a link to their songs are there. It's FYI.
Come see us live.
Do it.
So we're going to be in Toronto, Canada, guys, for Toronto Just for Laughs. That's Thursday, September 22nd at 9 p.m. That show is a live recording of Guys We Fucked, and they have individual tickets available for that particular show. Then Friday, September 23rd at midnight, it's Guys We Fucked, The Experience. Which is our live show.
Our live show, I gotta say, it's real good.
It's fun.
It's so much fun.
Well, I mean, people better have fun for how fucking tired I am after we do it. I'm like crippled after.
We're tired because of the fun. That's how we know it's fun.
And also, maybe it's not the show to do in heels, but that'll never change.
Yeah,
and then on Wednesday, September 28th, the Comedian Project happens at the Standing Room. Myself and Katie Hannigan. Tickets are $5 with the code SEX. That's the show where we don't do jokes about dating, relationships, or sex. And it's the day before my birthday, so no pressure.
And then on Corinne's birthday, Thursday, isn't your birthday the 28th?
No, 29th.
Fuck. Yeah, it's a Thursday, 29th. Okay. Corinne will be celebrating her birthday, but I will be with Wendy Starling at Zinc Bar in the West Village, 82 West 3rd Street, doing our monthly show Glamour Puss at 7:30 p.m. Link for tickets to that is in the description of this podcast. 21 and up, come party. We get weird. It's a rager.
And then the following night, Friday, September 30th at 11:15 p.m. It's Not Show Bitches at New York Comedy Club, the monthly show that I do with Blair Saki. Super fun, $10 tickets when you use the code Nacho. That club is actually 16 and up, but just like don't, obviously if you're 16, drink a soda. Don't be an asshole.
Don't be an asshole. Don't be an asshole.
And then New Orleans. We are here on October 12th at 8 p.m. for the Hell Yes Fest. That's a live podcast recording of Guys We Fucked happening at 8 o'clock. All ages, and tickets start at $25.
You can go to sorryaboutlastnightcomedy.com/tours to get links to ticket links for all of our shows that we're doing together.
Yeah, and if you didn't hear what we said, we post all this information in the description on SoundCloud for easy access.
Speaking of easy access, CISO is on demand streaming comedy anywhere, anytime. It's a new ad-free streaming television service that's curated to bring you all the good shit in one place. And isn't that all we want? Is all the good shit in one place? On CISO, you can watch new original series such as Harmon Quest with Dan Harmon, one of the funniest people alive, quotable classics like Saved by the Bell and 30 Rock, and late night comedy shows like Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, And then you got stand-up specials from comedians that you've seen on this podcast, like Big J. Okerson, and ones that maybe one day you'll hear on this podcast, like Wyatt Cenac. If you want to come on, I would really love to interview you. It's a mere $3.99 per month, but if you want a 30-day free trial, just go to seeso.com now. That's SEESO.com. They'll give you 30 days for free, and after that, you can pay $3.99. Seeso. Ugh, sorry, CISO.
Loving it. All right, let's read some fucker mail. This email is entitled, "Is it okay to reach out to my ex if I'm suicidal?" So obviously I was like, oh, this is one for me. This is one I'm going to read.
Corinne.
So then the first paragraph is obviously about how great we are. And it goes, "My situation now is a series of red flags that I've been ignoring for a while. I'm an extremely high-functioning anorexic with a slew of anxiety and depression issues. Currently, the anxiety manifests in focusing on the fact that I could die at any minute." I thought it said diet. And I was like, well, it seems like you are.
You're already dying.
Or a loved one. And the depression manifests in wondering if I would try to stop it in my case. I've always had suicidal ideation issues, which for me means having a preoccupation with wondering what it would be like rather than wanting to go through with it. Well, I think a lot of us think about
what it would be like.
Yeah, what it would be like. That's
Can't
different.
say I haven't done that a bunch of times.
I've been struggling with anorexia since I was 12, so a little over a decade, my longest relationship. But the past few weeks, I've been obsessed with my food, restricting it. And tonight I purged for the first time in a year. And the past few weeks, my mortality obsession has gone through the roof. It's exacerbated by the fact that 3 people I know have died in the past month, and 2 were very unfortunate suicides. Watching my friends grieve those losses, I find myself obsessing about suicide all the time, to the point where I'm concerned what is just ideation and what is interest. That combined with my new food obsession is no good. I can recognize that I'm in a bad place, but I can't go and see my therapist for a month. I'm working 12-hour days, 7 days a week for the entirety of Fashion Month. The one person who can calm me down when I get like this is my ex. We ended things very amicably, broke up because he moved to Europe 2 months ago after dating for a year, and still talk occasionally, including him turning to me with his problems. He's always told me that he wants to be my first call with stuff like this, but I don't know if it's emotionally manipulative to do so. My friends are super supportive, but I always feel like I talk in circles and I don't know what to say, and it ends up with me feeling more shame and regret rather than peace. I remember once on your podcast, or it may have been Dan Savage, I'm so sorry if it is. Well, that's a compliment to us.
Thank you.
Maybe a knock to Dan.
Yeah, probably knock to him, but that's okay.
That people sometimes use mental health or exaggerate its severity to keep people in the relationship, or at least involved. My question is it ever okay to reach out to an ex? Is it ever not emotionally manipulative to do so? Am I finding or creating excuses to talk to this person I love and miss? He's a great guy and I love him a lot, so I don't want to ruin his new European life or have him think I'm using my condition to keep him in mind. He's just the person I know would be able to talk me down before things get worse. I'm not sitting on a blade or anything. I just know myself and my illness well enough to know I'm on a bad and dangerous path. Again, love the podcast. Hope this sentiment doesn't sound trite after unloading my problems, but you guys are truly the baddest of bitches. Keep doing this, blah blah blah. And she included a pic and said, PPS, I may be anorexic, but I'm still a narcissist.
I'm a girl.
There you go, girl.
There you go, girl. Send us that picture, girl.
So, I mean, this is an interesting, I certainly am familiar with emotional manipulation because in my previous, when I was going through my breakup with Frank, I mean, I would just find any reason to talk to him. Like, I remember just the other day, I was thinking about when I got my laptop. Like, I'm a grown woman. I know how to fucking buy a laptop by myself, but like I pretended that I like didn't, so
I've done that too.
Yeah, so that he could come and help me. And that was certainly, but he did the same thing. Like, I remember he wanted to send gifts to his agents and he didn't know. And like the answer was always like wine.
Yeah, alcohol.
Like the answer is always wine unless someone is an alcoholic and has told you.
In that case, wine.
Yeah,
right.
and
Whiskey.
even then they can re-gift it.
Yeah.
But he messaged me about it. So we would just keep creating reasons to talk to each other. But I think there's a difference between creating a reason just to talk to someone and actually needing someone. I mean, if you broke up amicably, and you still talk, it seems totally fine to reach out.
I think you're putting up all of these reasons why it wouldn't be good for you to do it that I don't really agree with.
Right.
Like, you know, when people put up walls for themselves and they put up obstacles for themselves.
Well, she just seems, you seem like a person who has a lot of restrictions for yourself just in your whole life. Like, you like to control your life and set up these boundaries that you have decided in your head that are good for you, but obviously are not, because you're anorexic, and that and being so anal about food is never good. I mean, that's like, even if you don't have anorexia, there's actually time, like sometimes like I'll do MyFitnessPal, which is just like an app where you count your calories. But every now and then I'll get too obsessed with it, and then I stop doing it, because it's like, when you start obsessing about what you're putting in your mouth, you gotta fucking stop.
Yeah.
There's a difference between being on a diet and taking care of yourself and knowing, and then like food should never feel like a chore. The enemy. Or the enemy. That's a great way to put it. Yeah. So you got to be really cognizant of that. And I know just like we're in the entertainment business, super hard place to be a woman with a body. Just any woman with any type of body. Fashion, which you said you're in, I'm sure it's just even worse probably.
Also, yeah, fashion week, blah, 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 12-hour days. Make time for yourself and your health. And I would take a half day or a day off and see your therapist. I wouldn't go a month. I mean, I think that your mental and emotional health is way more important than whatever fucking fashion job you're doing right now. And that might be an escape, or it's something you really love to do, and that's great. But you have to take time for yourself. Jesus Christ. Don't let that be an excuse. I would talk to the ex. I don't think that's emotionally manipulative at all.
I don't
unless
either.
I'm missing something. And because you guys, he knows you really well. He knows, the depths of your soul, so to speak. So he's going to be a good person, especially if he told you beforehand, hey, call me with this kind of thing. I'm happy to talk to you. You're not using each other. And I think you're afraid of using him just maybe because you care about him a lot and you never want to do that. But I don't think you're doing that, man.
Yeah, I don't think it's manipulative. I do think you have to be careful, though, of convincing yourself that there is only one person on the entire planet who can handle this problem, or who I can talk to about this.
Yeah.
I feel like you just need, especially when you break up with someone, you need to find someone else. Like, so that it's more importantly, so that person doesn't become a crutch, because
if he's in Europe.
Yeah, it's just dangerous. Like, that person, for whether it's because you break up, because that person dies, you just never know when someone's going to leave. And so part of this has to be like you understanding yourself better, and you understanding why you feel this way, why you're obsessed with your mortality and your eating. Obviously, like, you recognize that there is some kind of mental illness going on. But yeah, I mean, that's why a therapist is the perfect person to talk to, because they're a person who's fully equipped to deal with something like that. And but yeah, reach out to your ex. It's fine. If it's between you going to kill yourself and you interrupting his European vacation, like, interrupt it. But there's also a way to go about it where you approach him, you message him calmly, not dramatically.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, I'm going to kill myself, call me back. Just be like, hey, I know you're in Europe. Just give me a call back, kind of important, when you can.
Yeah.
Something like
really
that.
Appreciate talking to you.
Yeah.
Right now.
Something like that.
That's all you got to do.
It doesn't have to be. It's not manipulation. Just be careful putting yourself in a space where there's only one person who you feel like you can talk to.
That's true. Because then what if he moves to Uruguay and never talks to anybody again? And you need, that can't be your only person to go to.
Yeah, give the other people in your life the benefit of the doubt, and stop. Like, I feel like you're making decisions about how other people feel about you before they've even expressed that to you. Like,
that's what I was trying to say. You articulated it way better.
Yeah, so that's that. We agree.
The subject line of this email: my not so anal wife. Hey girls, I love the show and have been a long time fucker. I wish you guys could put out even more episodes. Well, we'll make an announcement about that next week. Okay, so bear with me as I explain my situation. It may turn out to be multiple questions. My wife and I have been together for going on 8 years now, and things are and always have been great. We are one of those couples that other couples tend to be very jealous of, just because we get along so great and really are truly in love. In our early days of dating and even our first year of marriage, we had an unwritten but verbally discussed agreement that we had anal sex at least once every couple of weeks. I worked. You give each other those anal eyes.
I was like, was that in the vows?
I swear to give you anal sex at least once a week. I worked her into this slowly and gently as I had issues fitting. Well, yeah. After a while, she seemed to start initiating it part of the time, and she really liked it. Then a few years ago, she just all of a sudden, practically overnight, stopped wanting it. We went about 2 years without it until I started explaining to her how much it means to me. It is literally my favorite sexual pleasure of all time. It's extremely hard to explain just how much I love it. In fact, I started playing with my own ass in those 2 years. She wouldn't let me have hers. I found it extremely pleasurable to play with my own and even bought my wife a strap-on to try out pegging. When she opened it, she looked at me as if I were gay. I put myself out there and got shot down. I threw it away later and we never used it because I couldn't bring myself to bring it up again. Now it's been a couple years since that happened and we've had anal sex a couple times since. However, I'd really like to get back on track with our old schedule. I feel like I'm much more sexually explorative than my wife. Do you have any suggestions on bridging the gap? Also, I've never cheated and have very strong feelings against it, but would it be seriously wrong to find someone to peg me if my wife won't? Just try it. It's an odd thing to think about. Please don't use my name. We won't. This was an interesting. First of all, the wife looked at you like you were gay because you got a strap on. That's so lame. It's almost, I mean, this is a comedy term, but I think it's very appropriate. That's so hack, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hack. There's many reasons why a person, a woman, a man cannot want anal anymore. I know that's pretty much what happened with me and Steven. Because I was like, yeah, anal, whatever. And I did like it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it came to a point where the time I went to the ER afterwards,
Mm-hmm.
and I just didn't want to bother with it because it hurt.
Kind of left a damper on it. Yeah. I don't know. I used to be more into anal too. I'm kind of like, you know what? It hurts.
And also, I think when it was a long time ago, it might have been Nico. Because he's Dominican, but he was like, white girls give it up way sooner than other girls that he had been with. And I was like, and I thought about that time where like the first time I ever did anal sex was with him because I kind of was like, yeah, you want to do this? And the fact that he was so like, you let me do that made me happy.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be part of it. Also, that's really, I would talk to your wife more about it though, because I don't know if she looked at you like you were gay because you had a strap on. That's something that I would have a more in-depth conversation about because just because you want a strap on, that's not gay. It's you want to. Men have orgasms in their asshole. It's called a P-spot orgasm. I've seen a man, i.e. Steven, have one. It's the most incredible fucking thing I've ever encountered in my life. It's beautiful. I'm serious. It's a beautiful thing.
But also, like, what does looking at you like you're gay even look like?
I don't know.
I'm confused. Yeah, I guess like just kind of like what the fuck. But I also like I think butt stuff societally is considered homosexual or
so
for
lame.
women, and it is lame. But I don't think
maybe she looked at him the way like a guy with his girlfriend and a vibrator, like, oh, do you not need me anymore or something, or is that something that you like better?
I just think you need to talk to her about it and be like, oh, this is just something that feels good. It has nothing to do with being gay. It has to do with pleasure. Like, yeah, maybe you're gay for pleasure.
In that case, so am I.
Yeah, we're all gay for pleasure.
Yeah, but that was a little like, oh, you should talk to her more about that because that's so close-minded.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, as far as like, I don't think just because your wife doesn't want to do this one thing that you want to do gives you the freedom to go out and get pegged by somebody else. Like, that's not the agreement you made. Like, if you...
But I think it's worth bringing up because that indicates how strongly you want that to happen. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, bring it up. But at the same time, like sometimes that's what a marriage is. There's compromise. And sometimes after you agree to get married, your partner's not going to want to do some things that you want to do. And you just have to deal with that. That's what you signed up for.
Yeah. I would try the pegging thing again with her. Maybe reword it like, you do what you want with my body and you can use this.
But also,
for nights. Here's the coupon. Happy Valentine's Day.
Like, not even like being gay, but sometimes for me, I wouldn't like about someone asking me, I would feel like the masculine one.
That's why what I like most about the prospect of pegging and why I want to do it with Steven.
Right. But
I'm very submissive in bed with him.
You're also a lot less masculine in real life, I feel like, than I am.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very like, mistaken for a lesbian a lot. Like,
right.
you know, that
you have more masculine
and
energy.
so that to me, I don't feel sexy if I feel masculine. So it could be something like that too. Like,
true.
I wouldn't have a problem if James wanted to do butt stuff for him, but it wouldn't really turn me on to put on a strap on and stick it in his butt just because I would feel like a man.
Yeah, and that's why.
How you feel. I don't think there's any problems. But there's other ways to get anal stimulation.
Well, Steven has a sex toy called the Aneros. It's a P-spot simulator. Right. He puts it in. You could have sex, jerk off, whatever it is. I'm telling you, maybe this might get your wife back into wanting to explore more anal stuff. Is seeing her husband have this type of orgasm. I don't know if the person who wrote us in has ever had that before. It is amazing. Like, you know, those guys, like Steven's one of those guys. And I've dated a lot of those guys who just love when women come, love making women come. Now I get it. After seeing Steven have that P-spot orgasm, I'm like, oh my God, that is the hottest thing I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's so hot. And it like opened me up to like appreciating male sexuality more. I don't know how else to put it, but I would try that. And you can even just masturbate in front of her with that in. I don't know. I mean,
you got to try stuff. You got to find out what works for you. Yeah. And like, I think it's like, yes, we should be open, but I do want to be like, you know, there's just some things
she doesn't want to do. She doesn't want to do it.
You know, either don't want to do or just for some reason, like they don't turn you on and even like gross you out a little bit. And it doesn't mean that you're not like an open-minded person. Just sometimes you can't explain it.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, this just doesn't do it for me. And I'm not really sure why.
Well, that's exactly how I feel about anal sex with Steven now. Like, I'm not interested in it at all.
Yeah.
I don't even want a finger up. Maybe a finger, maybe.
Yeah.
I just don't, I don't like it anymore. I did, but now I don't.
And things go through phases and it's fine. And when someone stops liking something, then find something new. There's a million things to do.
And what if you guys had I don't know if you guys have ever had a three-way before, but what if you proposed a three-way?
Someone could peg you in that.
And then someone could peg you. And then your wife could be, you know, off doing her own thing or with you guys. I don't know. It's worth bringing up. You got to have a discussion about it. The worst that can happen is she's like, no.
Yeah. And then you have to respect her choice.
Yeah.
With that. I have to stand my ground on that one.
Yeah, I agree. Our guest. Oh, I love him. We've been wanting to have him on the podcast for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
He's a stand-up comedian. He is one of the few male comedians that I've seen, at least in the New York comedy scene, that just like have the best things to say about certain women's issues. Like when other comedians always chime in on whatever's happening that week.
He always has something and you're like, oh, I wish I would have thought of that.
I know. He's amazing. I think he is a wonderful example of a feminist who's a dude.
Yes, and he's a writer for Inside Amy Schumer.
Yeah, and he just wrote on the Rob Lowe roast, Comedy Central roast, killing it in the comedy scene. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Mike Lawrence.
Well, as a young wife, she can go downstairs and see the world exactly as she's chained to her life. Well, I can go downstairs and see the world exactly as I wanted to. I wanted mine with my hands of steel. Well, I can do anything that you want with my hands of steel. I can take the rest of it and shove it all in all. As a young wife, she's told to go downstairs.
Yo, we're here with Mike Lawrence. How you doing?
I'm good.
Oh, so good to see you and have you on this podcast.
Oh, thanks.
I feel like out of all the comedians in New York, especially the male ones, you're like the most feminist male comedian in terms of like, I believe women when they say things and don't mock and make fun of them.
Well,
What do you attribute that to?
A couple things. I mean, yeah, I've written for a lot of women. It's funny because, like, you know, I do the roast battle stuff, and I never felt I was a feminist until I roast battled women, and Because when you watch that show, people just call them like there's two types of ways women are often roast battled. They're either whores and they fucked everyone,
Yeah.
or they're virgins and they're gonna die alone.
Well, I mean,
prude.
I
Yeah.
like to roast, and every time I'm roasted, I just prepare myself that I'm going to be called fat, ugly, and a whore when only one of those three things is true. So I just, and I feel like, do you feel the way, like, I feel like their jokes with men are like are varied, whereas with women, it's almost 90% aesthetic. Like it's so much
that's
about
a lot
your
of
looks.
that, and I think it's like when you actually just treat women like people and you write about the things that personally bother them. Like
It's crazy how that works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, there's so much. I was like, you're missing so much bad parts about my personality if you're just concentrating on my looks.
I've roast battled women and they'll just come up to me and they're like, thanks for not just calling me a slut 5 jokes in a row.
Yeah.
Doing the research and shit. And I mean, my mom was a comic, so it's like any
that's right, yes.
any shit that you guys go through now, she went through, you know.
Even worse, probably, because
In
she's
the
a
80s,
comedian.
yeah. And there's no Facebook groups to protect her.
Oh my God.
You know, but people, you know, and she did it in Florida where everyone's just awful to everyone. Anyways, but it was like, are you ready to see some pussy? And, you know, like at comedy shows and
I believe it. Yeah.
and just harassment and shit like that. So,
Did she face a lot of that? Like, do you remember any
Yeah.
stories she's told you about times when
yeah,
she was
different
treated like that?
things. And, you know, guys want to fuck her, you know, while she was married and things like that. You know,
she's super hot, huh?
all I'll say is some very successful headliners could have been my stepdad.
Whoa, neato.
Yeah.
Thanks, hot mom.
Yeah. Thanks for going with Bob. Thanks for going with a guy who couldn't help my career. Way to think of you first. Way to leave my drunk, abusive dad and just go to someone who loved you instead of someone who could have helped me 25 years later.
Yay.
You selfish. No.
Selfish jerk.
Think of the children.
Did she raise you? Did she try to instill a mentality in you that, like, respect women? My dad did that to my brother.
Well, that and just, you know, hearing those stories growing up, I was like, I don't know, fucking be that asshole, you know. And I see it now, you know, and I think in some ways it's getting better, but it'll never get better, you know.
Right? It doesn't seem like there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
No.
But then I always think of the fact that I love being in a male-dominated field because it makes you different. That you're a girl. That's one thing that makes you stand out before you get to the stage that is just luck. I mean, you didn't do it on purpose.
Well, it's good and it's bad. Like the bad is like that the industry like wants women immediately, but then they tell them they're not ready after looking at them a year in, you know, so they don't get as much time to develop. You know, I feel like it's almost to the benefit of like women starting out to kind of hide for a little bit
Right.
and you don't want to be discovered so soon.
Yeah,
then
no.
they're like, well, that's it.
Yeah, because
What
if
a
you blow
waste.
it,
Yeah.
you're fucked.
23-year-old has been. No MTV2 for you.
Exactly. And comedy is the one career where the older you are,
Yeah.
the more seasoned you are, the better of a comedian you are. But then no one wants to see your ugly, fat, fucking wrinkly face on TV if you're
You
a chick.
stumbled that joke. Maybe we'll use you for spinster code in a couple of years when your ovaries wither like your punchlines already have. A rum pum pum pum.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you wrote for Inside Amy Schumer this past season.
Mm-hmm.
That's one show I've heard. I don't know. I think we might have talked about it on the podcast before, but someone was telling me they were an intern at Comedy Central way back years ago, and they were going around asking people if they thought Amy Schumer was attractive. They were like going to the interns, just kind of showing her a picture before anyone really knew who she was. I'm like, what the fuck does that have to do with it?
Oh yeah. No,
Ralphie
that's
May's on TV because he's hilarious. No one cares what he looks like.
Yeah. And I mean, and it's funny, like you look at like Lisa Lampanelli and like
Oh yeah, she lost a lot of weight.
yeah, and it like actually hurt her in ways.
Right.
Well, because
Yeah.
that was kind of like part of who she was, and she's
Yeah.
like, you know, I have the
Well,
this is who I
fatty
am.
can make fun of anyone, but
Right,
you know,
right.
you're skinny now. You obviously care about yourself, and now you're going to make fun of me. I don't think so. Like,
Yeah.
it's this weird thing.
Yeah. Well, I love that with Inside Amy Schumer, like the sketches are very feminist oriented, just in that it kind of exposes problems that women have in such a cunning way.
Oh yeah,
In
it's
such
amazing.
a fuck you way. I love it so much. And there's a lot of men on the writing staff.
There
and that
aren't.
makes me.
There aren't.
There's not.
No,
Why did I
it's
think there was?
it's mostly women.
Oh, okay.
It's
Well, that makes sense.
it's one of the only shows that is it's one of the best shows ever, and no one else has tried to do that. It's the fucking stupidest thing in the world to me. There's 3 male writers.
Oh, that's it. There's only 3.
Yeah, and I was one of them.
Yeah.
So I was added season 4. So I think they're, and then the EP kind of Dan like overlooks things and adds some things. So if you want to count 4, you can. But then there's like 6 or 7 amazing women.
Oh,
like,
nice.
And that's 7 like, and
And
there's
the head
like,
writer is a woman.
yeah, the head writer, Amy's sister, this woman, Tammy Sagar, is in
Oh
that
my God,
movie.
love
Don't
her.
Think Twice.
Yep.
She's brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Unbelievable. Christine Nangle, Claudio Doherty. Like, so they,
Powerhouse.
it's the best. Yeah.
Damn.
So there must be like a lot of like cat fighting, that's
No.
everyone.
yeah, they all like rip each other's hair out.
No,
Just a
it's-
lot of screaming over boys.
Here's the thing. It's an oasis of like everyone who was like the only woman at some of their other jobs.
Right.
And
they're
they're
like,
like,
finally.
yeah, and they're like, we're never gonna create a shitty environment. We're gonna have the best. It was the best job ever. And I mean, it was great writing with them. Like, I love being in places where I'm not the best, where I have to work
Yeah,
harder.
that's how
and
you learn.
I mean, that was definitely one of them. I mean, because it's insane, and yeah, the way that they treat each other, it's perfect. And the main thing about that show that makes it the best is that anytime you pitched a sketch, even if it was really funny, Amy would always say, "But what are you actually trying to say? Like,
Oh, that's
what's
good.
the point of this?" And you kind of had to have that ready.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like we need
Well, that
to have a
shows when you
purpose.
watch the show.
Oh yeah.
Because they all have a very poignant message.
And that's the thing, like when you look at like the rise of her success and everything, because I think maybe it's like Dane Cook 10 years ago, Kevin Hart
Feels
kind
bigger.
of, and her, yeah.
Yeah.
She's on the cover of
Well,
magazines.
hers feels bigger because it's gonna last.
Right?
Well, and it's also, I think Dane
Yeah.
Cook was just Dane Cook, whereas Amy Schumer is like kind of the leader of this women in comedy thing that's happening.
Yeah, well, it's the thing of like to quote Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. And with more success that she's gotten, she's used that to say things, and she's used that for platforms and shit like that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, when they get famous, they just buy houses and Porsches and stuff. And she's like, I'm going to talk about how guns are awful and how women are mistreated.
That's so nice. And I love
Yeah.
that because it is important. I guess for me, I don't realize it until I see it, how important it is to have a young, brash female stand-up comedian on the cover of Glamour, on the cover
Yeah.
of Vogue. It means
The
so
first one
much
at
to
MSG,
me.
the first woman
Yes.
ever at MSG.
That was incredible.
It just
Yeah.
makes me feel this like indescribable joy in my heart of like explosions of happiness, because you do need to see it to make the world go, see, this is a thing that happens and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
happening. And this is the person you see in the limelight.
Well, that's
There's
the
a lot
thing, yeah.
more of us.
Every time you guys go on stage, it's not, like, and if it doesn't go well, women aren't funny. Like the pressure that every single woman with a microphone
feel
has.
We
that.
carry the weight
Yeah.
of our entire gender every time we fuck up. It's so
Yeah.
annoying.
Yeah, I was at a show
Yeah.
yesterday with like, it's a club show and there was like
Yeah.
maybe 20% filled. I'm headlining, bombing just for 15 minutes straight. And
Yeah.
I was just like, wow, everyone's going to leave now because I'm the only woman on this lineup. And they're going to be like, women aren't
Yeah.
funny.
That's the thing. If I bomb, they're like, "Fuck this fat hipster nerd." But Zach Galifianakis is still great. Why aren't you Zach Galifianakis?
yeah.
But it's that pressure that's put on you that you don't get to choose, which sucks.
I know. Do you ever get, I feel like it's really popular, and I'm guilty of doing it myself. And I kind of want to try and stop and build an awareness around it, but just shitting on straight white men. Just like, it's like so hack almost now to be like, well, you're just a straight white guy. What do you know?
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know some things. Like you are an example of a straight white man that is a wonderful, good person who like has morals and
there's
stands up for.
there's shitty people in every group.
Yeah.
oh yeah, but the worst of us is the worst.
It is.
I mean, there is that. Like, I mean, God, like. As a straight white man, there are moments like, I mean, like,
Yeah, tell us about your struggle.
I mean, those like the Bernie dudes at the DNC where you're like, you are fucking ruining this for everybody. You're the worst. You lost.
Yeah.
Just go home.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
bad.
You're just shut up. Like,
Everyone hates you.
yeah. There's a Dave Matthews Band concert. Fetch. Go.
Though I would be at that concert probably.
I know. And even their music's great, but their fans ruin it.
I know. I hate that.
Yeah.
It's like NASCAR.
Yeah.
Right, guys? No.
So funny. Wait, I'm surprised to even hear you say that, but overjoyed to hear you make fun of Bernie Sanders supporters. But were you originally a Bernie guy?
Yeah.
I figured. Okay.
I'm a comic book fan. I'm a fan of fictional heroes. The real world happens. No, I mean, and I do jokes on stage of, how we have to settle for Hillary and, that it's, I'm going to vote for Hillary with the same excitement I get when I tell my stepdad I love him, Like,
Oh, okay.
so
Right.
there is
You'll
some of
do.
that, like, but that's also like, there is that, like, let's see her as the person she is. And like, yeah, it is kind of settling. But with the Bernie thing, it's like, yeah, I wanted him in the primaries. He didn't win. But the other side is so much more terrifying
Right.
that it's like, it is that thing like, you just got to fucking grow up and make sure this doesn't happen.
Yeah, well, I think people are just confused and they're just like, these are two evil people. I'm like, no, what are you talking about? I'm like,
That's
one
different.
is very fully equipped to be president, and the other
Yeah.
one is just a rich dude. Like, what?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going crazy.
Who, like, I think, like this was on his bucket list. But this is just like
Yeah.
a
to run for
fun thing
president.
he can do.
He's
And-
ran before, but no one paid attention to it
Yeah.
years ago.
It was like bathe in gold and then run for president.
I'm gonna do that.
and that's that's the internet. Like, the internet gives everyone a voice, and it's worked in a lot of ways. It's allowed women and minorities to fucking call out rapists and like defend themselves and actually get shit done in ways that they couldn't even have before. But it's also allowed the Trump assholes on the other side to feel like they matter. And it's allowed people who want to just shit on Leslie Jones to feel like they matter, but just the war, like it
Horrible.
you get the best and worst of pure freedom of speech.
But it's so clear to me, I guess probably as a result of achieving minor internet popularity,
Yeah.
that when someone shits on you that hard, it's just because they hate themselves. Like I can't get past that. Like, that's why I don't get mad. It's just more annoyed. Like, come on, dude. I see what you're doing. It's so
Yeah.
obvious.
Well, that's the funny thing with like feminism and all that. Like the thing that broke my nerddom this year was the Ghostbusters movie. Like,
Right. Oh, no.
I didn't know there was a screen that we could see the people.
Yeah. How do I turn that down forever? Whatever. I didn't know there was a screen either. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's
Oh.
cool. Well, we'll just edit this out.
Nice. the screen from like 1993.
That's creepy. Go on.
Yeah, you could see Montel Jordan in there but when he was successful.
Fucking wish.
No, but the Ghostbusters movie broke my nerdom. I had a nerd podcast that I got rid of, like, and I still feel like a proud nerd, but it was just like, man, you fucking people like ruin this. Like,
Yeah.
just the
What are the
pure
worst
hate.
things that you've read or have overheard about the Ghostbusters cast being
I mean,
female?
like I said, I'm on Twitter with the tag writer for Inside Amy Schumer, so I get shit.
Really?
And some
Who gives you shit for that?
like when I defended the female Ghostbusters, and
How dare you?
What an asshole.
and of course you write for Schumer and blah blah blah. It's like the fucking MRA garbage. But it's those. But the thing that broke me about it was just one. It's the most hated video ever. The most disliked video on YouTube ever is that trailer.
Really?
And they're proud of it. They're
The most is the Ghostbusters trailer?
yeah, just women fighting ghosts. And you know what? I saw
guys.
it opening night. I thought it was really fun. I did. The one problem I had with it was I thought they spent too much money on it. You didn't need the finale. And that's why it's not going to make its money back. But I thought like the character moments were great. The Ghostbusters 2 is a terrible movie.
Oh yeah.
So it's like you're fighting for this thing that you even know isn't the most perfect thing in the world.
I know.
It's just-
and it was a bummer because after I saw it, I liked it. It wasn't as amazing as I had it in my head, but I was like, God damn it. I did the same thing as you did, Corinne. Everyone's going to blame it on the women.
But also, I know this is going to offend you, Mike, but like, I don't think the original Ghostbusters was not good.
No, it's fine.
What did
It's
you
not.
Like, I mean, it was my ex-boyfriend's favorite movie, and I was like, really? Have you seen like Casablanca? Like Blanca?
Casablanca.
Is that Casablanca? Is that Casablanca with Blanca from Street Fighter?
Exactly.
I would love that.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know. Have
No,
you seen,
it's
like,
not. It's
The
not
Wizard of Oz. Like, there's other better movies.
Oh, that's the thing. It's not the. Have you seen the films of Gene Wilder? R.I.P. No, it's not.
yeah.
It's not the greatest thing ever. It's like it's a comedy, but there's not that. I'm talking the original one. There's not that many funny moments in it. But it's that thing of you like it because it's yours.
Yeah.
Right.
Now you're afraid that your thing. It literally is
Has
the
chicks
gun.
in it.
It's the gun issue. You're afraid that people are going to take your thing and now it's not yours anymore. And I mean, you look at Schumer and the amount of hate that she's gotten in the last year, and there's a direct correlation between that and her talking about the guns and, guns as dicks and all of that.
Well,
Of
people,
like,
Dude, guns
people
is
don't like
dicks.
entertainers, especially women, talking about anything other than what it is we think
but
they're
this is a
supposed to be
specific.
doing.
I think the gun thing hits a certain type of asshole in a way that other things don't. We're like, you think that you can.
People are very sensitive about their guns. Even I've posted things on Instagram, and like listeners of this podcast have said some disturbing things. I'm like,
Is
I've
the only person who loves you your gun? I don't get it. What the whole butthurtness is about?
I've just never heard an argument from somebody about why they should have a gun, and then thought, man, that person should have a gun. Like,
Yeah.
it's just never something that's
Yeah,
happened.
one, you don't think anyone needs a gun, and two, you don't think that person
Yeah,
needs a gun.
especially that person. I'm like, I would trust myself with a gun, but I don't want a gun. But then, and when people like start screaming and like calling me names, I'm like, you're exactly the person who shouldn't have a gun. Because if you had a gun, I'd be dead right now.
We should be able to record our gun conversations with gun advocates and then use those to prevent them from getting background checks.
That's such a
I mean,
good
that should be
idea.
the background check. Like,
I mean-
this is. Yeah. What are your last 3 pro-gun Facebook posts?
Read them out loud, please.
Look, I get 49 gay people were murdered in Orlando, but you don't understand how dangerous it is to live in Duluth.
I'm the perfect example of someone who probably could own a gun and should not. I have a horrible temper.
Yeah.
And I would I've always thought after like an outburst that I've had, like I don't have many of them. I'm like, God damn, good thing I don't have a gun. Not that I've ever wanted to shoot somebody, but I just don't
never
need that.
know.
I don't need that in my life.
Well, it's funny. I grew up joint custody. So 1 week I was at my mom's, 1 week I was at my dad's.
Joint custody life.
Yeah, my dad didn't have a gun. And my mom's, my stepdad did. And it was this weird, like, I always felt safer at the place without the gun. It's like there's much less of a chance. There's a possibility of getting shot in the place with a gun.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, question for you. We get a lot of emails. So you're a nerd.
Yeah.
You're like an actual nerd. You're not
Yeah,
somebody
yeah.
that's like, I'm such a nerd. No, like
No.
you fucking dig comic books,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Batman.
You're wearing a Batman shirt right
Wearing a
now.
Batman shirt.
Yeah, I'm on brand.
True Mike Lawrence fashion.
The only non-character shirts I have are the ones I have to buy for TV.
Yeah.
That's legit. Yeah.
What makes you love that world so much? And have you ever, has it ever come in between you and somebody you wanted to date?
What I love about it, I mean, it is the escapism. I was picked on. There is that. Some of my first jerks were to superheroes.
Wait, like
You
which
jerked
ones?
it to superheroes?
Oh,
Which
yeah.
ones?
Which superhero did you jerk it to?
I used to read. There was a magazine about comic books called Wizard, and this was the '90s when every single super hero female was like top heavy.
Dude, they're all titties out, man.
It's
all the
gross.
pinball machines, the
Yeah.
women in them, all their tits are out so
Yeah.
hard. It's almost impressive.
So even Mrs. the Invisible Woman had like in the early '90s. Her costume was just like the floor was like a boob window.
Oh, right.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember that.
So you saw the
Yeah.
cleavage?
Yeah, it was so weird.
They were always very muscular boobs, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you jacked it to cartoon boobs?
Yeah, Witchblade.
Ooh, Witchblade. Yeah, that's a good one.
Gen 13's Fairchild. She was a redhead. Where like the costume was like the top part of her body was like all covered, like her boobs and everything, but then it was just like legs, like
For days.
which it never makes sense. The woman in the bikini fighting crime,
Right? Because
all
doesn't
the
it get snagged on shit?
debris and stuff. Yeah,
But I mean, maybe it's easy. It's like she's like a swimmer. Like it just makes her faster.
yeah.
You know?
But when you're
Less
13,
clothes.
you're like, she's doing it for me. She's impractical for me. Thank you, Cheetah and Wonder Woman.
Ugh, Wonder Woman.
But hey,
Yeah.
if that
She-Ra.
sounds more fun than jerking it to porn
do you
and less scarring.
Do you know who invented Wonder Woman?
who?
Please don't tell me a guy.
It's this guy, William. Of course it is.
Yeah,
Damn
I was
it.
like, it's definitely a guy.
Damn it.
No, it's one of the most fascinating things, and there's some kink in it.
Ooh.
William Masters Moulton, I think his name is, or Marston or something. He is the inventor of the polygraph test,
Okay.
and he wanted an inspiration for young women. And he also he was married to one woman, but then was also dating another woman that lived in their house and all that.
And everyone was cool with it?
I think so.
That's
yeah.
dope.
Okay.
Good setup.
And early Wonder Woman, her weakness was bondage. That's how you could defeat her, was just wrapping her in ropes and chains and stuff.
Uh-huh.
You know,
In
and
a sexual way.
And her power is the lasso of truth. You know, she puts men in she ties men up, and then they have to be honest with her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so fun.
That is,
Oh yeah, and this
that's
is all in the 40s, but it was like super fucking kinky.
That is kinky. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I hope her movie's good. God damn it. But yeah, so yeah, I jerked to superheroes. I like the escapism of it. You know, when you live in Florida, you want to wish you're anywhere else. You want
Right.
to be anything
I hear that a
else.
lot.
Gotham
Yeah.
City.
Yeah.
Did you date a lot of nerdy girls, or did girls treat you a certain way in middle school and high school because of this nerddom? Or did they appreciate it and like it?
And yeah, I mean, the first real relationship I was in, like I had like awkward kisses and stuff when I was in middle school, but the first real relationship I was in, you know, lasted 6 years, was this girl, Christine, and we never had sex. Not once.
6 years together and never had sex.
Yeah, yeah. And
From what age to what age?
17 to, about 23. Yeah.
So were you a
Wow.
virgin beyond 23?
I lost my virginity about a month later.
Okay. You're
Yeah.
like,
When Christine
Christine's
left.
got to go.
Yo,
Yeah.
bye, Christine. I gotta stick my dick in something.
Maybe it was a couple. You know what? I think it was a couple months, because like I remember a month after I talked to her, and she, because her whole thing when we started dating, she was like, I don't like the idea of someone inside me. And I was like, okay.
Sure. Can I still hang out with you?
Yeah.
Yes. So it's just purely that. It wasn't religion. It wasn't anything else other than I don't want a person inside me.
I mean, I kind of don't like the idea either.
I get it.
I get Christine.
When I first
Yeah.
learned that sex involved insertion, I was like, "Whoa, wait,
Oh,
that's
I
stupid."
totally understand that. Me saying, I was with a girl 6 years and didn't have sex, she immediately becomes the protagonist in that story.
I get well. And you were totally cool with it. Did you guys do other things like mutual masturbation?
Well, it took like a long time. Like it took a year to touch the first boob, and then
Wow, a year to touch your boob.
So were you just like friends who kissed before that?
I mean, we were dating. We sent like. The thing was, like, I usually would see her like once a week. We
Mhm.
talked on the phone all the time, which I feel like
Aw.
phone conversation is a dead art form.
Oh, I used to be on the
Agreed.
phone for like hours
Yeah.
when I was young.
We
Yeah,
are
my
the
mom would
last
yell at me.
generation that will know what it's like to
Yeah.
just
Clog up the
everyone's
phone
in
line.
bed and oh yeah.
Oh, I would have run up because we didn't have a cordless, so I ran it all the way up to my attic room, and I was like, "No one can hear me."
Yeah.
I just
My
be on
secret world.
5 hours on the phone with my James M. That's what
Yeah.
I was doing.
Aw.
Well, my first relationships, like even before Christine, were like on AOL. Like,
Yes,
Messenger.
Hell yeah.
Oh
What was
my
What was
God.
your screen name?
Poetic 15. Yeah.
That's so romantic.
Wow.
And then Poetic
Michael.
18 when I turned.
Oh, juicy.
Yeah.
Poetic at any age. Now,
Oh,
were
yeah.
you writing poems or did you?
I did slam poetry for years.
Ooh, okay.
Really?
Before I did comedy. Yeah.
Do you remember any of your faves?
Yeah, there was one called Confessions of a Bleeding Penis.
Oh.
And,
Yeah.
and I just remember the opening line was, "What things make you think the things that you think?" It was,
That is beautiful, Mike.
well, and I met Christine at like a slam poetry reading.
Yes.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
guys have my favorite relationship. This is great.
No, I met her friend at one, and then I ran into her friend who was with Christine at a Specs. So
What's
none
that?
of this story makes sense to young listeners. Specs was a record store. Records used to be these things you listen to music on. Music was this thing that entertained people.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. So did you guys, was there ever a point in your relationship with Christine that you grew frustrated over not having intercourse?
I'm just understanding, like the kids listening are like, wait, before Drake there was music.
No, guys, don't believe him.
So yeah, I never heard. Yeah. What was your question?
But did you ever grow frustrated that Christine didn't want to have sex?
You know what? I only because of the pressure of everyone else. You know,
Yeah.
you tapping that, you hitting that. You know, my brother is like disgusting.
Really?
Still is. He will always make more money than me, but will never be happy. And it's the one thing I'll always have.
Wow. Wow.
Deep-seated family competition. Love
yeah.
it. I love it.
I mean, so you guys just outwardly don't like each other, I'm
Oh
guessing?
no, we're friends.
To each other's face.
I'm the roast champ. That's how I talk
He's
about
gross.
people.
Oh, which I love. He's gross to chicks. Is he gross to girls?
In some ways, like, well, his thing is like he's never fully happy. Like, you know, they're always like 22.
Oh, and
But he
he's-
also has a kid,
Oh, okay.
you know, outside of the kids he's fucking.
I was like, is his kid 22?
No, and it's like it's just tough for him to settle down in any way.
He's a different kind of guy.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, you seem kind of like, I get the vibe that you're like a relationship guy. Is that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was like, you know, because I was like, everyone doesn't have to settle down. It's not for everyone. I mean, for some people, it feels like they're in a room and they can't breathe, you know?
Yeah, I got into stand-up. Of course, I just want someone to say I love you over and over again.
Give me all your love and affection, please, strangers.
Yeah.
So a couple months after you dated, what was the farthest you and Christine got? Like, did you?
We tried
blowjobs?
once, and she was like, you know, had the condom and everything. I remember she bought a 12-pack of condoms.
Ooh.
I was so nervous to buy the condoms. This is
Why
like-
were you nervous to buy the condoms?
I mean, one, sex was because of the way that our relationship was, and sex was this like weird taboo thing. Like
Yeah.
that part of it was like, you know, icky to me.
Icky.
I know. I'm bringing Nikki back, and Yucky's coming with it. So that part of it was odd to me, and I genuinely didn't want the cashier to have to think of me having sex.
Wow. You know
Yeah.
what? That's why I was afraid of
Wow.
buying. I was afraid of buying condoms when I was younger, and tampons and pads. I'm like,
Yeah.
everyone here's gonna know that I have my period.
that you're
Yeah.
disgusting.
Oh,
boob-
self-checkout is a lifesaver.
ugly bleeding hoe.
Yeah, that's the thing. You have to, if you're gonna use self-checkout for condoms and pads and all that stuff, it can't be your first time doing it because you don't want to
'Cause it
be the
takes a
person
while.
that needs the guy to help you.
Because then you got to sit there with your
Yeah.
period
Yeah.
shit, and then
Well,
for
I
everyone to
mean,
see.
The joke is that everyone, when you're buying something like that, you always like buy a bunch of other things like decoy items, like
Right.
Snickers bar, paper towels.
I proudly purchased an enema at the CVS pharmacy cash wrap yesterday, and I was like, I don't care.
I've purchased
I
an
got
enema.
digestive problems, guys.
The thing is,
by
I've never had
itself.
problems buying like tampons for my wife or anything like that.
You buy tampons for your wife?
I was
Yeah.
like, I've never asked anyone to buy me sanitary products. It's so funny. I thought that only happened in TV shows.
Oh no! I mean, what if like
Well, what kind?
you're on your way home, stuff, and you're
I would
you're in
be-
the supermarket anyway? Like,
Make sure they're
guess.
pearl. No one likes cardboard applicators. That's what I would say.
oh, I literally like, I take a picture. Like, is this what you want? Yeah, because you don't want to be the guy who's got to get a refund on.
I
don't wanna
just,
be that
I would
guy.
just eat that $8.
Yeah.
That doesn't need to go back.
Man.
Send it to the prisons. They don't have enough sanitary products
and the
there.
homeless women don't have a lot of sanitary.
Little
products.
PSA, guys.
So what was it like losing your virginity after a 6-year sexless relationship?
I mean, it's funny. Like I say like I didn't lose. I just threw it away. Like I didn't care.
Yeah.
I was just like,
Good.
all right, you know.
It's a bigger deal than people,
Yeah.
or it's not as big of a deal as what people put
make
on
it. Yeah.
Yeah. I like, you know, me and Christine, and it was funny. Our last day together was
Jesus. That's
I'm
so
a
sad.
dramatic mother. Oh, you're
relationship is
surprised
dying.
that the guy who loves comic books is over dramatic.
Our last day together.
Previously on Sexless. So I remember, you know, we were like, let's try to spice up the relationship.
on your last day.
Well, we didn't know it was our last day,
Right.
You know, and she brought like erotic dice.
Okay.
Erotic dice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I ate her out through her jeans. That was the thing. Like,
Through her jeans.
You ate her out through her jeans.
That
Yeah.
is hard.
yeah.
How? And whose decision
know.
was it to leave the jeans on?
Did
you ever
she
lick her
come?
pussy?
Don't you want to know what Uncle Cracker song was playing as I did this? It was Follow
Don't
Me.
know I love you.
That's the only Uncle Cracker
That's the
song
only
I
one
think
I know.
we know.
There's more than one. I didn't know.
Follow me, everything is all right.
I'll eat you out through
Yeah.
your jeans.
I was gonna say, did she come? Because I
No.
would be surprised that she came through her
No.
jeans and also to
No, she
Uncle
left.
Cracker.
Stripper did that once to
Yeah.
me, and I almost came because it was very thrilling. But you're not usually supposed to get that close with them. That's
Yeah.
why I was thrilled.
No, yeah, she didn't come. She left. No, it was just like this. What are we doing? I mean, because that was like she made the vagina this like magical thing that it should have never had to have been. Like, because I wasn't allowed to see it. I could touch it.
Wait,
Yeah,
It
I
is
figured
magical,
her-
but it shouldn't be so mysterious.
when
when you put your pussy on a pedestal like that, you
Yeah.
can't enjoy it as much. You know.
I'm not one to like quote stand-up bits, but if I do, I will say them, and I do mention this on stage because there's no better way to explain it. Her vagina literally did become like Wilson from Home Improvement.
Oh, that's so funny.
Never saw the mouth.
No, just the tip of the hat.
Wow. And that you
Jesus.
never
I sought advice.
gave her not a hard time for it, but you never were like,
No.
dude. Well, that's nice. I mean, I don't know. If
I
you
also,
would have,
you know-
I wouldn't have been like,
I mean,
it's her body. Because I would have been frustrated if my sexual partner wasn't.
this whole time I was working at McDonald's.
Oh, so
So-
you really couldn't say shit.
Oh, that.
Not
But-
sure that's what he was kidding.
But also,
Poor guy.
but also the fact that I was just surrounded by so much white trash misogyny. You know, I lived in a trailer park. You know.
Word?
Yeah, I went to school and like high school and college in South Florida. I worked at a fucking podunk McDonald's. So everything was you gonna fuck that and you know, just this
Ooh.
and it turned me off and I never wanted to be that person. You know, and there were even moments within it maybe I was gay. I dated a guy for 3 weeks.
You did?
Wow.
Yeah. and
Well, it makes sense because if you're surrounded by this hyper masculine grossness of like these men that are saying like you gonna fuck it, they don't get sex. They
Well-
probably have not had enjoyable sex once in their lives.
And this was towards the end of me with Christine. I was like, maybe I'll try this. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what
Yeah.
I am, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
How did that go?
lasted 3 weeks? It was,
Did you hold hands?
hand jobs.
Hell yeah. Was it comforting? Because it's like, oh, you got the same parts. You get it.
That's as far as it went. No, he gave me the worst hand job ever. And
Oh, really?
I broke up with him the next morning. And this, because I realized, like, you know what, maybe I just don't enjoy this. But I felt really bad because I broke up with him the day after Thanksgiving. And it
Black
was so weird
Friday.
because no one knew. Like, he wasn't out. It was just like, this is my friend,
Right.
Mike. And they made us sit at the kids' table. So I think they knew.
Oh, so you brought him to Thanksgiving after?
No, he brought me to his.
with only 3 weeks in the
Yeah.
relationship.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
and we'd
been serious.
only seen each other like 4 times. The thing is, like, I've never driven a car, so you know, dating there is like, yeah, you see the person not all the time. It's not
Right.
like every single. I didn't start like dating someone where I saw them every day until like New York.
Mm.
Wow.
Wait, have you still never driven a car?
No.
Whoa.
Do you have any interest in it?
Yeah, I'm reapplying for my permit and stuff.
Oh, okay.
It's I have a disability in my hands, motor skill deficiency, so I can't
I
write
didn't
really
know that.
well. I can't throw. There's no way to make it funny. I just have to live with it. So I can't throw really well. I mean,
What about jerking off?
it hurts. It's like
Really? It hurts
retard
to jerk
strength.
off?
Huh.
Yeah.
Now, is that
Very
a
aggressive.
word that? Well, I don't know
What?
I was going with. Like retard. Like I don't know.
Christina wanted to know if retard strength was
Is that
medical
Can you
term.
say that because you got a disability and I can't say that because I don't got a. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was
I'm an
rereading.
asshole.
No, you're not. You're not at all.
Yeah.
I was rereading some of our old emails in our inbox, and I recently stumbled across one that was talked about us saying the word retarded and being upset because this woman had a mentally challenged son, and I was like, I wasn't thinking of your son when I
Yeah.
said it. So that's just on my brain.
But that's always what it is.
That's
That's
so-
about that. It's not about you. It's just a fucking comedy.
exactly.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Step back.
Oh, that was. I remember. I did a joke on Last Comic Standing where it was where I talked about Scar from The Lion King, and I was like, naming your kid Scar when he has a scar on his face. It's like these are my two. When the other one's named Mufasa,
right.
it's like these are my two sons, Timothy and Cleft Palate, and I got like pictures, like not just letters from women with kids with cleft palates, but like, this is my child.
Oh,
Look at this.
Yeah, it's just like stop. We're not fucking talking about that. We're
Yeah.
not saying
not
your
thinking of
joke
your
is not
cleft
saying that
palate
someone with a
child.
cleft palate is disgusting. You're
Yeah.
saying that's a fucked up name to give someone. Like, listen to the fucking joke.
And that's why I get
It's
angry
infuriating.
when people write in and they're saying they're mad at that because I'm like, you're for that example, like you're insinuating that I think that people with a cleft palate are disgusting. That's clearly not what I think.
That's their
Come on.
that's their insecurity.
That's your thing.
I remember on my wedding night, we got married in my mom's backyard in the Poconos.
Aw.
Oh yeah, Mike's married. Everyone
Yeah. Sorry.
not available.
and I remember it was like 8:30, and my mom lives like in this like community, like gated community kind of thing, and there was like a community Facebook board. And they were like, this one woman was like complaining about the music, but she was like, my son has auditory problems and he's freaking out and this needs to stop. And I just wanted to be like, fucking Christine never loved me. And I finally found someone. You know how hard it is?
I went 6 years without sex.
Even your son can hear my pain.
Yeah, it's just like take your son down to the block for a couple minutes. Like let us finish our
give him
fucking
some ice cream.
wedding.
Yeah.
Dear God.
Best wedding tip, by the way.
Yeah.
Beer and wine. No, I don't.
No liquor.
I don't drink at all. And I don't smoke at all.
Is
But-
there a reason for that?
I want to succeed.
I just didn't know if you went too far and then you stopped.
No, my dad was an alcoholic, so I
Oh, right.
told him
Okay.
I wouldn't.
Steven doesn't drink or smoke either, and everyone's like,
Precautionary.
"Oh, was he?" I'm like, "No, he just saw people ruin their lives."
I attribute like 80% of my success in comedy
to being sober, not drinking. Yeah,
I don't want to ever say sober.
right, because you were never a drunk.
Yeah,
right.
I didn't earn it.
That's true.
I've
You
heard
didn't
that from
earn it.
sober friends who are like, fucking, I'm like, I'm sorry I didn't have to lose things to realize that booze is bad. But no, yeah, beer and wine, you save thousands of dollars.
Really?
But here's the best part of it. They leave and they're not there too long.
Right, because not open bar or.
Well, and also I feel
Yeah.
like less people will get shit faced.
Yeah.
On beer and wine. It's a lot harder.
They pay for themselves to do it afterwards on their own money.
Okay.
So, how long have you been living in New York?
Almost 10 years in January.
Okay, and how long have you been with your wife total? Like, how long ago did you start
6
dating?
years.
6 years. So there was 4 years where you were
And
single.
yesterday was our 2-year anniversary.
Oh, happy
Mazel
anniversary!
tov.
You guys are
Yeah.
so freaking cute. What was dating like in New York City? Moving from Florida life to New York City life. Did you attempt to date, or were you just focused on comedy?
It was with only one sex experience under my belt.
oh, so you only had sex with that one person after Christine?
Yeah,
at that point.
and that was before I left Florida, like shortly before. No, New York was tough. I mean, like I said, I never drank, but my rock bottom was different. I was a mooch. I was really poor, and I was the guy that would go to the diner hoping someone would buy me something.
Ooh.
Oh, been there.
Yeah. Oh, it's the worst.
Oh, man.
And I lived in a friend's basement. like a rank.
Was it finished?
No. It was separate. It was like a metal grate, like staircase, cobwebs, like the whole, like Frankenstein basement.
Right.
And it was rough, and I met my wife in that basement time.
So you brought her back to the basement.
And she was like, I'm not fucking doing this.
Makes
She's
sense.
like, I love you, but not this.
You are not the basement.
But the way that I treated dating was very unhealthy. Because my thing was, comedy and the rest of my life were so intertwined because I was obsessed.
Yeah.
I gave myself an ultimatum. I was like, I'm giving myself 7 years. And if I haven't made $5,000 or been on TV, I'm quitting. And that's it. And I moved here. 6 years. Yeah. I moved here when I was 24. And I was like, by the time I'm 30, this needs to happen or I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that I treated dating was I did every fucking horrible show you could. I looked on Craigslist to do gigs.
Oh, wow.
Well, you kind of have your reputation as like one of the hardest working comics doing like 10 mics a night kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And that's where it came from. I did the naked show 20 times.
20 times? That's the most amount of times.
You just want to make sure everyone saw it.
You just wanted the spot, man.
Well, yeah, that was the thing. And I remember other comics would shit on me for it. I'm like, you're not getting booked on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
They're booking me. You
Right.
know?
Oh yeah, hell yeah! I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is just another spot. I've done the naked show too. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Did I have a spot tonight? I don't think I did. So now I do.
The first 30 seconds, like I'm naked, and then after that's like, I hope my new jokes go well. Who gives a fuck?
Right. Oh yeah, no one cared. Although I did hear that you have a big dick. Sorry to be forward.
Do you have a big dick?
I don't think so.
He's like, I've always had it. It's not big to me.
It's got retard strength.
What do you think of your dick?
He's fine.
Do you like it? Did you name it?
Gary.
No. Mortimer.
That's a good name for a dick.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Lou Diamond Phillips. Because it's the La Bamba.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
And it's vaguely Asian. No. And yeah, so I was obsessed. And the way that I would treat dating was, I did all the websites. I met my wife on OkCupid.
Oh, nice.
But I did Plenty of Fish, Craigslist, CrazyBlindDate.com.
You went date.
Wait, what? What are those things? CrazyBlindDate.com.
It's
Why
literally
CrazyBlindDate.com
Why do
is
they
an
have
actual
the word
website?
crazy in it?
Yeah, that doesn't sound good. That's setting
so
you up
people
for
like
failure.
me would feel comfortable.
Well,
I remember
the women are
I
crazy.
only did one, and it was like with this black girl who was really religious, and like the second that's what's weird about like online dating is like sometimes like they see you and they already know, but then it's like, I guess we're gonna just pretend for a few hours. I mean, our grandparents
disappointed?
pretended for 50 years. We could do 2 hours at the Kellogg Diner.
Did she seem disappointed when she saw you in person?
Oh yeah.
And you just were like, because see, when that's happened to me, because I did OkCupid for a while and I really liked it. Most of the dates were horrible, but they were funny. But if I didn't like someone like within the first 10 minutes and I knew I didn't want to waste my time, I was like, dude, let's just come on.
I went on so many. I mean, and that was the thing. It was the numbers game. Like, I'll do as many shows and mics as I can to make it a comedy. And I'll go on as many dates as I can. And it was unhealthy, and I would, it was tough because.
Could you pay for the meal? I mean, you didn't, right?
A lot of times you go half.
Yeah. I mean, that's fine. I don't think that's rude at all. But did that ever present itself as a problem where the girl kind of expected you to pay?
It's kind of hard to hide that you're poor.
Right.
And that was the tough thing was, I was unemployed for a good amount of this, and they would ask me, what do you do? And I was embarrassed. Like, I would say comedy, but then I hadn't done anything.
Of course, yeah.
And that was the funny thing. I got booked to go to do the Montreal Comedy Festival the week before I met my wife. So when she asked me what I did, I was actually able to look her in the eye.
Comedian, motherfucker, yeah.
And even like I was so poor when I did Montreal. This is crazy. There was my shoes were so fucking ripped apart and stuff that an open mic host started a fund to get me new shoes. Like, it was literally the bottoms of them, you could just see my socks. There was nothing there, and I used that money to get a
buy crack?
passport. Yeah.
Oh,
else
yeah,
I
because you
couldn't
need
have
to pay
gone.
the application fee.
Yeah, that was when I was living in the basement and stuff.
Man.
I mean, and I remember when I was up there, and this is so sad. The first day I got to Montreal, I would go and buy food for people at the bar. Like I'd go to Subway, get it for them, and they'd give me a couple bucks. And I did that for
You're a delivery boy.
Like a tip fee, yeah.
Anthony Jeselnik and Amy Schumer. at the
No
time.
way.
5 years before I worked for her, I went and
No, how did
bought
you?
them
That's
food.
adorable.
Poetic 15.
That is
Come
that is
on.
poetic.
Yeah.
That's poetic
Come
24.
on.
because I just
whatever.
needed the money. Yeah.
Now, how did you propose? You're like,
And then-
I'll get you a sandwich for like a couple extra
Well,
dollars.
the guy who became my manager was like, "You can't do that, man." He's like, "You're a comic. Like, you're here." He's like, "I'll get you food."
Aw.
Yeah.
It's just like, Mike, please stop doing that.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. You are
I look back,
embarrassing.
I'm like, how did I date broke? Like I was broke, but then it's being the girl.
Being a broke girl
It's
is
fine.
Yeah.
easy.
You could be the broke girl,
Being the broke guy was rough.
which is sucks. Like that's not fun.
Yeah. And my first day with my wife was not the best. We got Mexican food.
Ooh.
I had
Not making love
diarrhea
after that.
because cause and effect. And
You got diarrhea right after your first date?
yeah, it was love at first sight. No, and the first date was good, and the second date, like, because this was the thing I used to do that was unhealthy. I always wanted them to see me do stand up, and sometimes that would even be the first date.
Oh,
That's your
boy.
strength.
I've yelled at my good friend for that.
Yeah, it's
bringing
bad.
bringing dates to the state. A lot of dudes do that.
And I would. This is the douchiest way to be like, if you want to see the real me,
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Mm.
I got what you meant because the one thing you really had going for you was your comedy.
that's all I had going
So,
for me. Yeah,
I
and I didn't even
get
have it
that.
going for me really. At that point, it was starting to. But even like the first year with my wife, she paid for more stuff and things like that.
Yeah.
I
And how did that make you feel? Were you?
terrible.
Oh, it did make you feel terrible.
Yeah, not good.
And is it because she's the woman dynamic? I'm so interested in this dynamic of the man is supposed to make more
it wasn't the.
money.
It was
It's
not
just
the-
unequalness in general.
No, because I had guy friends, that I was mooching off of that I felt shitty about.
Right.
It's that
So it had nothing to do
helplessness.
with that. Yeah.
And and I look back, I could have gotten a job during some of that when I didn't. I had jobs for good parts of it, but other times, I was an asshole. I was like, I'm an artist. This is what I deserve.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
the
I
thing
get that.
and I see people, I see that part of myself in people now, and it's like you want to have talks with them. I'm like, look, like I know this seems like ideal in some like Charles Dickens
Noble
way,
thing, yeah.
but it's like you're just hurting other people.
Yeah. And also in New York City, I loved being poor here because there was always something to do for money. Like I would look on Craigslist and be like, oh, you want me to clean your closet for $50? I'll do it. Like anything.
Yeah.
I've done that a million times. Like I
Wow,
always, or
jobs.
like promotional modeling, like handing out stuff on the street. Like I would always like figure out a way. Cause I still am not sure how I survived. Like I was making like for a good part of my 13 years here, like $19,000 a year.
Oh, I was making
Dude,
less than that.
I don't,
Yeah.
and but I was like paying I'm not living in a basement, so I still don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, even when I was living in an apartment, like,
Yeah.
I stocked restaurants at LaGuardia for a year and a half and made
Oh, wow.
$8 an hour
yeah,
Dang.
before taxes.
I was like $8 an hour. I was like, that even.
Corinne, do you remember? I remember one day when, because we've been
Oh yeah,
poor as fuck.
yeah.
Where you gave me one of your Subway sandwich coupons, and I like almost cried. I was like, "Thank you
Oh,
so much. This is
Subway
an entire
sandwiches.
6 inches
I
of
remember-
sandwich
Oh.
for me."
When I lost a Metro card, and that was like,
Oh, that's the
all the money.
worst.
You just have
Losing
to
a
walk
Metro
everywhere.
card. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And you didn't even have to pay for extra ones back then. But I there were a couple times where I would stand outside the
Yeah.
Subway doors and be like, "Can someone swipe me,
Oh, yeah.
please?"
Damn.
So when I have an unlimited, I always swipe people because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Is it?
Maybe not.
I
Maybe
have a
they
very
suck.
strict no giving anything to anyone policy. I do. I don't know. It's just
Well,
I'm
that's
just.
what works for you.
I don't know. It's just I just have like stuck by it my whole time, and it's not that I don't care. I give to charities and stuff, but I just can't. Individual people in the street, I just don't do it.
Well, because giving him the one and it makes you like, well, that guy deserves it too. So you give him. When I moved here, I gave money away to homeless people all the time. I
Oh,
didn't
the
even have
weirdest-
any.
I've given food to people.
My favorite is like people who like visit or new here when they get mad at the homeless people, like, I gave him $1 and he didn't say thanks. I'm like, you know how mental illness works?
Yeah. Take a
Because
step
you
back.
have it. Yeah.
One thing email that we've been getting lately is from guys that feel awkward or creepy approaching girls. Like,
Yeah.
how do I approach a girl?
And then
Well,
we're
that's-
like, we have Mike Lawrence here today. We'll ask him.
I'm just curious because I feel like you're the type of guy that whatever you would say, I'd be like, do what Mike does because I like him and he's good.
Well, I mean, like I said, I was terrible at it, and not drinking, so it's like I can't go to bars, and it's also if
So that's hard. That's really tricky.
Yeah, if you don't drink and you're hitting on drunk chicks, there's that own fucking
weird.
ickiness. Yeah, it's very weird.
Yeah.
It's not good. And I never wanted to fuck comics. Like it just never. I mean,
We've heard that a lot. Yeah.
I have the Oedipal issue too with it though. So,
Yeah?
Well,
How
my
so?
mom.
Oh, duh.
Then it's like, oh, fucking someone who did what my mom did.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, what if
So
I knock her up and she gives birth to me? Ah!
So the meeting women online, that was a really good way to
It was
go
the
on
only
dates,
way for
'cause-
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't have the social skills. I remember like my second month here, I did this like thing called Meat Market Adventures.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. And it was MEET, but it just felt like MEAT. And it was the saddest thing when it was for Valentine's Day.
Oh, God.
This was, and I was like, I moved here January 07. Never seen snow before, just freezing, walking around with my open mic printout
Did you
sheet
have a coat?
from Giggle Chicken Chuckle Monkey.
Oh, giggle chick.
Yeah, I had to buy a coat once I got here, and so that was my second month here. And what it was it was like this meetup thing of like finding like potential dates, and it was the saddest. What they would give you a half of a Valentine's Day card, and you had to find the person with the other half.
Oh my God.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
That
Like
is
a nightmare.
Oh,
You
yeah.
should just
And I
re-nickname that.
did.
Start off on the wrong foot.
And she's like, "Oh, look at that! It's the same card." There was nothing there. It was
Aw.
It was I mean, because I had a girlfriend like maybe 2 years before my wife, and then I went, and then I had sex like maybe 6 months after that girlfriend. I went like a year and a half without sex before my wife.
Is sex like important to you? Some people it's just not that important.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also, going 6 years without it, you kind of just realize like, I don't regret the 6-year relationship I was in. And the fascinating thing about Christine is I think she might be trans.
Oh, wow. That is
Because
fascinating.
I saw her on Facebook recently and it was Christine in parentheses, Chris,
okay.
and then her last name.
Wait, like if she was trans, like when you were with her, or she after? Like
she transitioned
I mean, I'm sure
into a
she
man?
had some of those feelings. Like,
well,
Right.
But
the
I didn't
feelings,
know.
yeah. But I
She was born female is what we're saying.
yeah, she's
Okay.
born female.
okay. That's what.
Oh,
But
wow.
I feel like she might be now, and it like makes everything make so much more
Yeah,
sense.
it does make sense. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's why she doesn't want someone inside her. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
it's also, it's like,
Typical dude. Ugh.
good for her. If
yeah.
she is, that's awesome.
When-
I don't talk to her anymore.
You should ask.
Eh.
Hey,
I mean, it's
Are
like
you?
trans?
No.
just wondering.
trans. That's cool.
Do you stay in touch with any of your exes?
No. No, it's also because I have so much regret, and like I can talk about any part of my life. I don't have a lot of shame, but it's at the same time like you move on, things are different. Like, I mean, there was the girl that I dated before Christine. It was just not like, it was another. Yeah, I was poor. It was a bad time of my life. Like I don't need to remember that more than I already do sometimes.
Right. When did you know you wanted to ask your wife to marry you? That's such an interesting moment that I love hearing about, especially from guys.
Yeah.
Because it's really sweet.
Well, like so I'm 33, and like a couple years ago, you start doing the wedding circuit.
Oh, wait.
Going
like
to
your
weddings.
friends are
Around
getting
the time that all
like
your
you did
friends-
stand up at weddings? What the fuck?
Oh, no.
What smart people are getting married and asking you to stand
Did
up?
I
That's
say
amazing.
every gig? I said every gig. naked weddings. Yeah, I did stand up at the Blind Melon bee field once. Yeah, in the bee costume. No. her grandfather, who passed away this year, he died at the age of 94, was 91. I mean, I knew she was the one anyway, but there is that pressure of like, I want him to see this. I proposed in front of him on Thanksgiving in front of the family and all that. I knew.
Were you nervous to propose or excited?
Yeah, it was. Well, it was funny because like we're at dinner. My mom was the only one who knew, and the way we were going to do it was everyone's going to go around the table, say what they're thankful for. I'll go last.
I'm thankful for my fiance. Hey.
It was funny. My mom was like, "You'll go last." I'm like, "No, I want someone to follow me. Let them fucking follow. Let them feel it. Let them have to Mike Lawrence their way out of this." Yeah. So I went last, and during the whole dinner, I had the ring box in my pocket, sitting next to her. And so, like, it kind of felt like a bulge. Luckily, she never noticed.
Yeah.
And then I proposed, and he got to see it, which, means everything to me. And I know what that meant to her. And
she's really close with her grandfather.
Yeah, because I know there's, the closest. And I know there's like those comics who like, I'm going to propose after a show or that. It's like, it's got to be about the other person.
Oh, God. Yeah. I hate when people do that. No.
And,
did you get down on one knee?
Yeah. Oh, the whole thing.
Nice.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I guess, yeah. Wow. Did you think about getting down on one knee before you did it? Or were you like, I guess this is what I'm supposed to do?
Yeah. And that's always been that weird thing of like tradition and things like that. Because I'm not a suit and tie guy.
Right.
That's not me at all. And sometimes you're like, okay. And that's been a part of the marriage is like letting her decide all that stuff. Like I'm going to the Emmys this weekend, and it's like, all right, you pick out the tux, you find the barber, you do this, you do that,
right? Because
that means something to her. It doesn't to me. I've never given a shit about that stuff. I just don't care about my appearance. It doesn't bother me. And I mean, that's also why I do well at Roast Battle, because people make fun of it and act like it's not a conscious choice.
Right.
You're like, no, I know I could do better.
Yeah. You make fun of my beard, I'll make fun of your painful divorce, and
I'll go home sad.
Yeah.
Is there any difference between being married and just living together as a couple? Like,
yeah,
it's such a cliche question, but I am curious. Like, I can't imagine it being much different, but maybe it is, and I don't know because I'm not married.
We only live so we lived together like in this loft space in Williamsburg with like 3 other roommates. And then we got married in September 2014. We moved in together into our own place in Brooklyn like 2 months before that. And I was on the road a good amount of that time, but it definitely, it changes things a lot. Like,
really? The living situation.
There's a security there. Just knowing, like, I mean, it also just feels great saying my wife, the living situation, and there's couples that are together years and years that never get married, and that works for them and they're happy. I'm not I hate the people who try to push marriage on other people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If it's what you want, it's what you want. I love it. I mean, it's also, I have the fear of abandonment, of being alone and knowing like, oh, you can leave, but it's going to be tough for both of us.
It's going to cost you a lot of money, babe.
Yeah. So just sit here and watch season 1 of Unreal with me. We're on episode 7.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Good show.
Good network.
It's just, it just feels like you're a part of this tradition. That lots of other people are. I do want to beat my parents' record, 9.5 years.
I think you got a chance.
Just got 8 more.
Yeah, I think you can do it, Mike.
Yeah, I think so. I love marriage, and just it is a thing, like, what it means to other people. Like, even when you're at a show and it's like, hey, can my wife come in? Like, that means more than girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. It does have this gravitas to it.
So then just lie, people.
Like, I love her.
Girlfriend needs to get into a show.
Yeah.
Tell her she's your wife.
I love her as much now as I did then. Like, I don't feel like it's changed our feelings towards each other that much. But yeah, like I said, the security. I mean, we want kids. We're building towards that.
How do you do that? Like, how do you build towards having kids? That's something about adulthood that I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do when I want that to happen. But I guess it just happens and you figure it out.
I mean, to me,
I want
because I was poor so long and I'm not anymore, it is tied to money. Like, can I afford to do this?
Mm-hmm.
Is this something? And now it's like, okay, we can afford to do this, and just even like certain like responsibilities like that you have as a husband feel awesome. Like the fact that I can give my wife health insurance because of dick jokes is like the greatest feeling in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Totally.
like the actual benefits of marriage. Like that's,
Yeah.
I was such a pro gay marriage person because it's like, yeah, everyone fucking deserves that if they want it.
Absolutely. Damn.
Yeah.
What a beautiful note to end on.
Yeah.
we-
Mike Lawrence taking a ballsy stance on gay marriage. It's good. Yeah.
This week on Guys We Fucked.
My ex-girlfriend who never had sex with me might be trans. I hope she's happy now.
Beautiful.
So weird.
Good for
I, there's no point in having anger. You know,
Yeah,
it doesn't
totally.
do anything for you.
Where can we find you online? And do you have anything coming up that you want to promote? Because guys should see him. He's one of the funniest comedians working
thanks
today.
so much. On MikeLawrenceComedy.com, I have a fall tour coming
Oh, nice.
called The Fantastic Tour.
Oh, that's so perfect for you.
Oh yeah, I am
Fuck yeah.
on brand like a motherfucker.
That should be your tagline. On brand like a motherfucker.
Mike Lawrence, he knows what he is. But yeah, I'll be at. I don't. Do I ramble all the comedy club dates?
If you want to, or you
I
just
will,
go to
fuck it.
yeah, whatever you want.
When's this airing?
Friday.
Okay, awesome. Greenville, South Carolina, the 23rd to the 25th, Comedy Zone. Portland, Helium, the 29th through October 1st. You know what? It's all on my website. Go there. I feel weird doing that.
No, that was a good start. So if
Yeah,
you're in
and-
North Carolina or Portland,
We have a lot of listeners.
I will be in the Fort Lauderdale Improv, my home club, the first club I ever did stand up in,
Aw.
where I did a bringer show where
Yes.
I had to get 10 people. And to do that, I put tickets in people's Happy Meals.
oh,
That's a brilliant
Yeah, yeah.
strategy.
that's so smart. Well, good
So-
for you. And you got your 10 bringers?
So
when are you gonna be there?
11 years later, on my 11-year comedy anniversary, I will be headlining the Fort Lauderdale Improv the 3rd through the 5th of November.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. That was
Thanks,
a great
guys.
story. Go see him live. This has been Guys We Fucked, the Anti-Slut Shaming Podcast. We'll talk to you next Friday.
Take a picture of me sleeping, so I know who I've been with, so I know that I've been getting my rest, cause I haven't felt so great, and I haven't had a dream these past few days, or maybe years, but I've been drinking with my friends, chugging down the last few beers, and I'm stumbling up the stairs, trying to make it to my bed. It's the last time that I do this, I tell myself that I'll get through this, that I don't care, that I'm aware that I've been wasting time with you, and there's nothing I can do. Sometimes winners have to lose. Can I be a winner too? Cause once in a while I would like to feel kind of alive, rather than dying. I want love, I wanna feel the way I felt last year. I want love, I wanna know that I'll make it far from here. I want love, I want it now.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Guys We Fucked, the Anti-Slut Shaming Podcast. Thanks so much to our sponsor, CISO. CISO is on-demand streaming comedy anytime, anywhere. Curated to bring you all the good shit in one place. It's ad-free and only $3.99 a month. It's available at CISO.com, which is SEESO.com, the iOS App Store, Google Play Store, Roku, Xbox, Amazon Video. Start your 1 month free trial now by going to CISO.com and catch your favorite TV shows, stand-up comedy specials, and original programming.